Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you all today? I am Jamaica Cost. I am the founder and executive director of the Hummingbird Project, where we empower the Black community to heal from the traumas of sexual violence, including sex trafficking, sexual assault, and all forms of sexual violence. I am here today to talk about the intersection of faith and Sexual Assault Awareness Month. And we have had amazing conversation over the last 3 weeks. This is our third week in this series and conversation, using stories, accounts, more I should say, from the Bibles of Scripture. And so we have talked about Tamar, we have talked about Dinah, and today we are going to talk about the Levites concubine. And so as you come in, please let me know who's joining. I'll be looking here in the chat. But I thought it was important because with our organization, the Hummingbird Project, we are a faith-based organization. And what that means is we do operate under the principles of our belief in our faith and Christianity. However, we serve all, and we will not have someone who perhaps wasn't a believer or etc. To not serve them. We will always serve all and also respect all's opinions and voices, etc. We are about helping to end this narrative of sexual violence and its prevalence in the Black community. There are large disproportionate amounts of survivors and those who are being affected by sexual violence in the Black community, larger than most other marginalized populations. And so, in most sectors of sexual violence, and also and just gender-based violence and general domestic violence. Um, uh, you name it, sexual assault, trafficking, as I shared as well. And so it's important for us to have these conversations to curb the narrative. And there are many who have questions even about faith, about what has been happening and things that you have seen even in mass media about sexual assault happening in the confines even of the church. And the question is, well, what is it that God says about that thing? And then also, what is it that we are to do about it? And so I'm hoping that I'll give some insight into that one today, but would love to hear from you. You are experts in this conversation. I always say that you are experts in this conversation. When I look at, I believe one of the stats that I read was we are 1 in 5 in the Black community have experienced rape, and in comparison to our counterparts, which is 1 in 9. And so just looking at a stat like that, that's 2 times the amount in the Black community that has been reported. But the issue with that is the issue period is sexual violence, but one of the disproportionate effects of that is, Black people only make up 12%, less than 13% of the population in the United States. And so those type of numbers are very disproportionate in number. Even when you look at sex trafficking, the numbers are also disproportionately um, reflective on the national level and on local levels, where it's almost 40 up to 70% were identified as being Black or even brown as victims. And so that's problematic as well when it comes to the number and population. So that's why we look at these focus areas. We know that trafficking, we know that sexual assault can happen to anyone, and we want to prevent it from happening to anyone. And it is very prevalent in our in childhood and youth. And we know that we definitely want to protect our children and youth. And so these conversations are extremely important. So without further ado, I'm actually going to read